Intro. It's intro time. Shush. Everyone shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave.
What's going on, main characters? It's your boy, Talks Too Much with Third Party Studios. Welcome back to the stream, and we've got with us a special treat. We got Slim coming back to the stream. He's participating via Discord. Welcome back, buddy. I missed you so much.
Yo, thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Let me guess what you're wearing. The red sweatshirt.
I'm not, but I'll go change right now. I got a
Right,
headset
get
on,
the
so I can
fuck
do it at the
out of
same
here.
time.
Go. How did you not, like, you've been gone for a year. How have you not been prepared?
I used to wear it every time. I forgot.
But we got Cody in the studio with me also. How's it going, buddy?
What is good?
It's good, man. This is gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good stream. I think we got some fun shit to talk about. The Thunderbolts has been confusing. I don't know how to interact with this topic as far as like my thoughts on the movie versus how it unfolds with the rest of the MCU. What does the future of the MCU look like? What is Disney's what was Disney's role in this film?
I'm treating this like a little spoiler because I'm treating this like my Batman.
Yeah.
The Batman, I really enjoy that movie, and a lot of the internet's like, it's all right, and then it falls off completely in the third act. I'm treating the Thunderbolts like that. It's like, it's something that
There's something there for sure. And then we've got Slim coming at us. We got to talk about Oblivion. He's been playing the shit out of it, and apparently the internet is ablaze with love for that remaster. You know, it is possible to do good reboots, I guess. And
yeah,
then
it's very well done, but they keep we'll obviously get more into it, but they keep a lot of the jank in it, which is so funny to see.
that's what a lot of people love about it too.
well, yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
And then the last story we're going to be talking about, well, it'll be the first story. We'll start with this first, Jurassic World, and how we got some financial news coming out of Universal about what the movies have been costing to produce, which is really good to kind of counteract the message we've been getting around like movie production costs and everything. Before we jump into it, guys, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's free. It's the best way to show your support and love for what we do. We really appreciate all that you guys have done over the last couple of years while we've been working to grow. So thank you guys so much for being with us. And again, if you're new, just consider it. You can always change your mind. And don't forget to smash the like button. So we got those stories to look forward to. But I want to hear, what have you guys been up to? What's been nerdy about your guys' week? Cody, start with you. What's up, new guy?
Well,
Words.
speaking of divisive like media and whatnot, I've been replaying Final Fantasy 15,
Really?
which came out in 2016 and was completed in 2020. But, but I've been replaying that.
They got there.
Yeah, and I'm fucking addicted to it, dude. I just want to go back to it all the time. I don't know if you guys know anything about Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 15, but like this was like announced in 06, came out in 2016, totally different game. And it was very divisive because it was the first time Final Fantasy stepped away from turn-based combat. And you're basically on a road trip with 3 other bros the entire time, just doing random shit. And I fucking adore the game.
Bro stuff.
It was my first Final Fantasy, so.
I still have not jumped into a Final Fantasy game. I mean, I understand that this is one of those things where it's like a franchise is so large and the fan base is so in love with it that it feels almost intimidating to jump into. And honestly, it gets to a point where for video games, if you don't have some kind of a hook, decent marketing, some sort of like really interesting gameplay mechanic that appeals to you directly, you're not going to start like Soul Calibur is another video game like franchise where it's just kind of like the Mortal Kombat video games. I'm not going to get into them because they're popular, because they've been around for a long time, because they're doing new things with remastering some of the older ones. The Nintendo Switch announcement that came out with Soul Calibur. I'm still not going to be starting off from scratch with Soul Calibur and trying to fall in love with it.
Well, it's like trying to get... So before I even picked up Final Fantasy 15, I've always like doing research of like this franchise and whatnot. It's like you don't need to play any other games to get into a certain one. They're all their own separate thing. But for like a player like you, Tox, I don't think I could like recommend any one game. Probably maybe Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
Okay, and I've heard.
Yeah, I was about to say 7 and 8. I played the OG one, so way back when. But they were That's only 2 I played, and from what I've looked up, those are kind of the staple. I know they're all pretty good, and they have a cult following. Not saying the ones aren't good, but
beloved one.
Well, and
Those were very good.
Well, and video games are one thing where if it's a reasonable price point, I'm usually pretty easy to convince to try a new game. If someone, especially if someone's pushing it, if someone's saying you should try this, I'll usually give it a shot if it's a reasonable price point. I mean, if it's a $70 game, I got to lead the charge on wanting to install, buy, and get this game.
You know what I could recommend?
What's that?
Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core.
Crisis Core?
It's like the the prologue to Final Fantasy VII. You play as Zack, which is one of my favorite Final Fantasy protagonists, and it's Crisis Core. I think it's Crisis Core Interlude or remake. I don't know. It's hard to fucking remember, but they remastered it. It was a PSP game before. But that game's got like good actions, kind of turn-based. You got special actions and whatnot, but it's a quicker game, and the story's pretty good. And I think that would be a good jumping in point.
I would. You know what?
It's one of my favorite ones.
If it's sub $30, I'll think about getting it over the weekend and see.
Because it's a quicker game.
Then I'm probably gonna want to give that a shot. Slim, what about you, man? I know everybody here knows Slim's the busy guy. He's got all the things. Everybody wants.
I mean, one visit in a year is pretty good, right?
Dude, I'm happy you're here. I do not care how often it happens. I'm just glad you're on when you can be on, and I hope you're gonna have a good time.
Can't you just put a baby in like a pen and just leave some jerky out and do your own thing?
We got a pack and play pen. Yeah, that'd work.
Yeah, just throw
that'd
some
work.
jerky in
just,
there and go do your own thing.
Noise canceling headphones on, it'd be fine.
Just train some crows to watch after your baby. Just go outside with a bag of frozen blueberries and just start bringing in crows and just say, protect this baby. No one's fucking with crows, man.
Protect it, it'll be fine.
Then the baby's
well, this week I've just been obsessed with Oblivion, and between that and once in a while I play Frostpunk between 1 and 2, but yeah, just Oblivion since it came out, I put in roughly 25 hours now. Gosh, just the nostalgia has been so much fun.
So remind me, because I've watched a bunch of YouTube shorts on it. I remember a lot of Oblivion when it was first coming out, so a long time ago. But does it play more like Skyrim? I mean, because I love Skyrim. That was my main game from the Elder Scrolls series, and honestly, that was kind of like the last one we got. So, does it play like that now with the remaster?
The remaster plays, yeah, it plays more like Skyrim than original Oblivion. They kind of brought in some of like the leveling system a bit. It's a little more complicated, but yeah, it has all the same guilds. It has a main story. It has just random NPCs walking around that'll just hand you quests. It's very well done.
So I'm looking forward to talking about that because I do have some more questions on it, and there's these specific shorts that keep going around the internet that I really want to ask you about specifically. But before we do, I'll just say, like, for my week,
no one asked you.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
Hey, Tox, what nerdy shit have you been doing this
Oh, my God. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you asked. Thank you so much. So once upon a time, Netflix had a really good catalog of anime on it, and they had like the English dubs of a bunch of really good anime that I fell in love with.
Yeah, but their subtitles were so far off.
Their subtitles were bad. But then, as licenses expired, Netflix didn't renew them, and Netflix had the only English dubbed of those anime, so they didn't fall over to Crunchyroll, and I couldn't find them anywhere else. So specifically, there are two. There's Magi, there's Magi, and it has an extended title, Magi, the Magical Labyrinth or something.
Aladdin or something.
Yeah, yep, exactly. That's the character. And then there's Record of the Grand Crest War. I love both of these anime. I think both of these were awesome.
Nerd.
Exactly. And then, but they both exist on Crunchyroll in their original Japanese and subtitles. And I just want to you know me. In the dub versus subbed, I'm like, there's a case for both. I like dubbed anime when I'm just trying to relax and just trying to watch and get the enjoyment out of the show. If I'm trying to keep up with the anime and it's new episodes coming out, I will watch the subtitle just to like watch it right away.
Right.
I'm excited for it, and it's not that much of a hindrance. But I am also driven by the fact it's a new episode. If it's an older episode or something I've already seen, I need the dub. I don't like having to read the show I'm watching. So, but I finally found Record of the Grand Crest War on a I don't know if it's a torrent site or whatever, but I found it somewhere.
You're sailing the high seas with Captain Jack Sparrow.
Exactly. And I finally found it with the English dub, and I binge watched 6 episodes last night before I went to sleep. So I was up till like 2 a.m.
Ask me because I have a website.
I'll touch base with you on it because I gotta know.
Guy.
There's this guy. I'm a pirate too. Arg. All right, guys. We waited long enough. Got through our weeks. Let's jump into our first story of the day. We've got a article coming at us from That Park Place. We have the cost of Jurassic World films passes $1 billion before marketing. We've talked about marketing before, marketing costs and how that's not usually factored into like the IMDb budget margin. Now that we've gone through the title real quick and read the headline, what is your guys' impression of this like idea, the story? Like just before we dig into the nitty-gritty and the details of it, what is your take on the concept here?
Well, ain't there like 4 or 5 of them?
So Jurassic World,
let's see.
Is that 4? I think this will be the 5th one coming out, correct?
I can't keep
Or is this
the names
3 out and 4th is coming out?
All right, hold on.
I'll be honest.
One of the
So
two.
you got Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, short film that doesn't count. World Dominion. This is the 4th one coming out.
Okay, so this is the
Yeah,
fourth.
I was going to say
franchise.
I've seen 1 and 2. I didn't see the 3rd one.
Well, and so this article is going to talk about Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. So just a little bit of a spoiler getting into it. But okay, so you got 2 movies. They cost $1 billion to produce. Production value on like these blockbuster films. I mean, is this what we? I mean, is 500 million going to be the new benchmark for like what films will cost to produce?
So, just a clarification: is it talking about all 4 films?
No, 2.
Pass 1 billion before marketing, or is it?
This is the second 2.
It's Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. So that's 2 and 3.
The last 2 ones.
The last 2.
Well, so the last 2 movies passed 1 billion. So that's
combined.
That is excessive. I was thinking it was all of them, and I was
Right.
like, well, not that $1 billion's not a lot, but I'm like in today's movie world, that's not that much.
Well,
but yeah, 2 movies, it's a little excessive.
Yeah, and that's before marketing, and whatever they make at the theater is split. So yeah, they're whatever they make at the theater is split. So they're gonna lose money. I mean, they're gonna lose money to the theaters.
Well, and to give a little clarification, I just looked up the budget for the one that's coming out in July, and the reported budget is $265. So if that's accurate,
but we always know that's double it.
If that's accurate, they just cut their budget in half from the last one.
The one thing I love. Okay,
Yeah.
So you guys know me. I'm not a really huge fan of Europe. Let that just sit for a second.
You're not America. You're not right.
Right.
We're the red.
I don't know anything outside of America.
Well, we're big. We're big. We have a lot. Our GDP is huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Huge.
My point was that the EU, if I'm understanding it right, the EU and the UK have like tax transparency laws that force like Disney, Universal, all the studios that make their films and produce them there to reveal their tax like information. So we do get more clarity on how much these movies are actually costing. I really think that's a good thing for the industry. It's really healthy for everyone to see, oh, they're lying all the time. It's not a $200 million budget for the film. It's $550 million budget for the film. Production, not marketing, not nothing else, just production.
Well, yeah, I think everyone's kind of tired of having the wool pulled over their eyes, and they just want transparency and like anything they're interested in. It's like, what the hell? With Captain Black American Falcon Soldier.
Yeah. Obviously.
They lied about that budget like 3 separate times. Like it was just like incremental.
Why even? I just don't get that. I kind of understand. Why even lie about it?
Well,
It's so they can look better.
Most people don't care.
Yeah, it's
though.
the same.
People-
Yeah, only we care. Normies don't care. But it's the same with like streaming
Yeah.
numbers. They don't have to tell you the truth about that at all.
Right.
Or
And-
sales in video games, they don't have to tell you the truth. Like Assassin's Creed's like 2 million copies. It wasn't copies sold. It was like
It's
players.
it's player count is because then they can go like, oh, it was a free weekend, or if a bunch of people tried it and just sent it back. Like, yeah, I've seen articles like that.
they
It's just
just
crazy.
Say, or they just say generically in the title of the article, Assassin's Creed player weekend, and then they incorporate all the Assassin's Creeds that are still live.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
It's for the
They can.
investors.
They're not technically lying, but they can. You'll peel off the layers and it's held on with like duct tape and.
Right. It's like Disney saying, what was that? The lesbian space witch show?
Acolyte.
Acolyte. They're saying like the
Oh,
Acolyte's
it's
like
so
the highest
horrible.
performing Star Wars show in that week.
Yeah.
In that 5-minute span of time. I just want to point out the fact that the last time Slim was on the podcast, we were talking about the Acolyte.
Oh gosh, and I'm here again. We're talking.
And
That
it
show
kinda-
was so terrible.
it
I
all
got
circled
through
back.
like a couple episodes and I turned it off. I couldn't do it.
Dude, that show. Was there another Star Wars project that was kind of appealing? It was no.
Andor.
There
just dropped.
is the Bad Bunch
Bad
and
Batch.
Andor, like Bad Batch. Sorry, I was like, I really like that show too. If you want some good Star Wars content, just
Come find
those are
Slim.
too little polarized. Go
I'm
watch
actually-
those two.
I'm
They're
actually-
so good.
I'm actually reading the Revenge of the Sith novelization. Everyone says
Oh, okay.
it's way better than the movie.
Well, I mean, the book is better than the movie. I'm so
Well,
sick of hearing
Revenge of
that.
the Sith was
There's
good.
no
So
explosions in that book.
I should clarify. I'm not reading.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it, and
I-
it's 13 hours
Yeah.
of Revenge of the Sith.
I
instead
can't
of-
read. So
How many words per minute can you hear?
I know there's sound effects and shit in the background.
I do
aren't
like
there
that.
YouTube pops up.
is there?
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that in an
Audiobook quality is good.
That's cool.
The audiobook quality, they're putting a little bit of extra effort into good audiobooks now. That I think so. Star Wars Dead Brand. We don't have to put too much love into that timeline, but yes,
Oh, good.
Andor and the Bad Batch. Obviously, there's things inside of Star Wars that could still be appreciated. It's not like we're gonna hate on like even the OG Star Wars. Oh, we got to talk about Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah.
We
Revenge of the Sith dropped their 20th anniversary. It dropped back into theaters, and they had a $43 million weekend. which
Holy
is
moly.
Yeah.
Good for them.
that was
Good for them.
that was half of the entire runtime of the Marvels in one weekend. But honestly, in my mind, we missed going to it, and that's my fault. But
what pisses me off is that
It's a-
theaters throughout the country play it for a week, and ours only did it for a weekend.
well, day. It was one
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Really?
It was
They just
Saturday.
did one day.
It was one day. It was
That's
one day,
okay.
one screening. I'm pissed off about that. I was like,
Mm.
you're not gonna make any money on any of these other films.
No.
Make a freaking event out of it. Put it on the ultra
Yeah.
screen. Put out some flyers. Go spread the word. More like
Yeah, they should have did it for like a 9-day period, 2 weekends,
Yeah.
That you'd think that movie would make money.
I mean, you could even sell those tickets at full price. If it wasn't a scheduling conflict, I would have been there. I was looking forward to that almost all spring. And I
Well, for sure it would make money because all of, the kids growing up watching it would bring, their kids, if it's the appropriate age to go
There's
watch
a
that.
lot of stories.
Of
where,
course.
yeah, I watched it when I was a kid, so now I'm bringing my kid to it.
we're getting
Yeah.
we're getting really far off the article, but and I want
But-
to circle
Well,
back.
it's Star
but-
Wars. It's awesome.
Well, I want to circle back to the article, but before we do, I want to
For
get
sure.
your guys' opinion on the proper watch order of the Star Wars saga or the Skywalker saga, the 9. And if you want to skip the sequel saga or the sequel movies and just do the original 6, but I want to know what your guys' watch order is. What do you guys think?
This one's a hard
Um,
one. Sam Witwer, the guy that plays Starkiller and
Maul?
Maul, had a
Uh-huh.
watch order that was very unique.
I think that's kind of
It
what
was
I'm
like
preaching to.
watch 1, then go back 1, 2, and then watch the animated series, and then 4
Mhm.
or 5. So you know that because this is all
Can you
like,
use the titles of the
okay,
movies
So
rather than
New Hope, watch
Okay.
New Hope,
Got it.
then Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones, then Attack of the Clones animated series.
Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Or yeah, Clone Wars.
Yep. I'm following you. I just want to keep it
So-
clean for the audience.
Yeah, so you know who Darth Vader is and whatnot, and then you go back, you see Anakin, and you watch Anakin grow up. Then you see 5,
Yep.
and you find out that Anakin turned into Darth Vader and is Luke's dad.
Yeah.
And then 6 or 3, I think, after that.
Okay.
So it's like a very discombobulated one, but it's
Jumping
like,
around a lot. Yeah.
basically it's like trying to keep the focus on Luke and Anakin, and then finding out
Mhm.
later that
There's logic to that watch order. I want to know what your guys' recommendation is though, individual. Is that your recommendation on how to watch it?
I mean, it's a good one. I don't have a personal one because I've never even really thought about it.
Slim, do you
But
have
I
it?
I'm telling you right now, me and my wife My wife never watched it. We watched it probably 3 years ago.
Keep my
Going
wife's
in order
name.
from the beginning, the Phantom Menace through. So we watched 1 through 6. I just said we're skipping the very last 3. It was amazing. It was so hilarious when we got to episode 3 when Anakin actually betrayed
It's
them
hilarious.
and turned to
All those
Darth
kids
Vader.
dying. So funny.
She didn't catch it. It was like, there's hints there. She's like, he's Darth Vader. How'd that happen? It was the funniest thing ever when he betrayed him and then goes into the temple and does, all that stuff. She's like, no, how could he do this? It was perfect. And I loved it.
You got to commit to the bit.
You got to commit to the.
It was the whole, I'm your father bit for us, but he's Darth Vader for her. It was amazing to watch because I never got to experience that since I knew he was Darth Vader.
Right.
So it was just a little different perspective, and it was perfect. I loved it.
Plot twists are very, very difficult to get that experience back. You really can't.
Yeah.
You get it once.
Yeah,
that's
because
it.
I never got that little shock moment, and I got to experience it through her, and it was great.
Well,
I got a high recommendation on YouTube. Watch Obi-Wan Kenobi has PTSD. It's very good.
I think I've seen a short or something that kind of makes a point of that, but
it basically takes that talk in episode 4 between Ben and Luke when he's talking about his dad and the Clone Wars and whatnot, and it
I've
jumps
seen what you're
back and
talking
forth.
about.
Yeah, it's very good.
I thought it was adding so the short had that same scene, but it added like Vietnam like sound effects and flashbacks and like fade over into the background. So you got that. All right, so back to the art. Now that we kind of had a few just original thoughts on the headline, but let's dig into the article a little bit. So the article starts off. Dinosaurs may be extinct, but their price tag is alive, well, and absolutely massive. Newly released financial documents show that the combined production cost of Universal's last 2 Jurassic World movies, Fallen Kingdom in 2018 and Dominion in 2022, have officially crossed the $1 billion mark. 2 films, $1 billion, just production. That's honestly hurts my brain because we were thinking $500 million was a high benchmark for Captain America Brave New World. Remember, 350 was kind of the most likely, and then it could have been higher than that. But now you're seeing these Jurassic World films being 500 billion a piece. And
500 million, yeah.
500 million. Thank you for catching that. 500 million a piece. Man, that would have been, that's Elon Musk money.
What the fuck are they spending their money on?
CGI.
I was just about to say that. And
really bad CGI, right? I mean, so first off,
the cocaine table at the caterers.
Yeah, I mean, every union needs their money. Every dinosaur needs a CGI team, and I will say that I do think that the Jurassic World films are probably the best in CGI that we have right now. In this last 10 years, that's probably the best we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I don't know. I haven't watched them.
The best CGI is Transformers.
The dinosaurs look better in the 93 movie though.
I agree. That's why I was trying to say this generation of CGI that we have and this generation of like film creation, cinematography, all we get is mediocre CGI. So if this is if this is the best we get, I mean, an entire bucket of burnt popcorn, this is the one yellow kernel. That's what we got. The whole bucket is burnt, but we got a yellow kernel here. That's kind of what I'm saying with Jurassic World. It's still, you're right. The 90s practical effects are almost always better. And
the practical effects mixed with CGI.
Yeah.
This is just all green screen CGI built from the ground
up. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you got directors that don't know anything about special effects, so they film it in a way to where the special effects team has to be creative and just be like, oh, fuck, we got to do this from the ground up.
Well, and I hate that it became Fast and Furious, but with dinosaurs, how they have to like create a brand new dinosaur that's even more scarier than the other dinosaurs in every single movie. Like the trailer for the new one, it's got like a dinosaur that was so dangerous that they couldn't keep it at the original Jurassic Park. Or at least that's what the trailer's saying.
Yeah, no, this is the island where they first experimented on, and they kept all the most dangerous.
Yeah.
The dangerous ones, yeah.
Yeah, you just put those down. You don't keep those.
Dinosaurs in space.
So, according to Forbes, Jurassic World Dominion alone cost $583 million to make. overtaking Star Wars Force Awakens to claim the title of most expensive movie of all time. Wow. I mean, Dominion is not even like a breakout or standout film. Like, in no way did that even... If you give me a list of 1,000 movies and say which one was the most expensive to make, I'm not even thinking about any of the Jurassic World films. Not even considering it. I mean, I guess as you think about it, this movie's so dense with CGI, but I didn't think they paid exceptional care to the film's CGI. Kind of figured they just had them made and then cleaned it up a little.
I mean, for being transparent here, Avatar 2's reported budget is $350 million. So Dominion cost $210
million more,
or $230 million more.
That's a whole nother film. That's a whole nother movie. Slim, that's a whole nother movie. We could make Jurassic World short films.
I'm looking at the gross world, like the gross income right now too, is for everything is $1.67 billion.
Yeah, the article does
for the third movie.
So just a couple caveats here. So the number does not factor in marketing, distribution, merchandise campaigns, which run off the hundreds of millions on their own, or run into the hundreds of millions on their own, which is very typical. Sure. That's very common. And Jurassic,
very
Jurassic Park, Jurassic World is one of those IPs that there's gonna be toys, there's gonna be Legos, there's gonna be video games, or like all sorts of other spin-off merchandise. That's unique to the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise. That's very common. So the fact they have more merchandise than that number, I would love to see that number too.
That could have attribute to the film's inflated budget. Is this next one that you just highlighted? It was filmed during lockdown.
Yeah.
So everything cost a shitload more than.
True. So quote the article, filmed during the height of the lockdowns in 2020, Dominion incurred costs from stringent safety protocols, long delays, 5 months of cast quarantine at the Langley Hotel in the UK.
Jeepers.
Well, in the UK was ruthless with their lockdown policies and
stuff.
They
locked down way harder than we did here, and especially our state.
I mean, I don't know if they did Australia, they went back to being a prison island. If you're Australian,
back to their roots.
I'm not trying to be mean, but you guys should not put your citizens in concentration camps for not...
It's not a camp. It's a holiday getaway.
With guns. Protected by your tax dollars. But yeah, so obviously the quarantine thing... Yeah, the quarantine would have had a pretty drastic impact. The UK... I don't know. I feel like this number...
Jeff Goldblum does cost like $100 million to put in a movie.
I would be curious. Just so, what is it? What are some of the other expenses here? So other expenses include a massive visual budget, international crew, blockbuster level salaries for stars. The film reunited the original Jurassic Park with Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, alongside Jurassic World, Chris Pratt, and Bryce Dallas Howard. Chris Pratt, love him. I don't have any issues with Chris Pratt. I think his acting range is...
But it doesn't cost even $20 million to put in a movie. Like, what was the offer that Marvel made RDJ to come back? Wasn't it $100 mil?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, hold
on. It
on.
was a ridiculous number.
I'll look it up.
I'll be way off base here. I thought $30 million was their first offer. But that could be way under.
I think they spent 20 just getting the Russo brothers back to direct it.
Maybe I'm looking at it. Maybe I'm remembering a number similar to that. But if you're gonna pull it up here in a second, I'll just let you cook with that. But so Fallen Kingdom wasn't much cheaper, clocking in at $555 million total budget for production for both films, $1.1 billion.
Holy,
dude, this is insane.
It's a huge money
well in office
scheme.
And they earned $1.3 billion.
Yeah. So the box office success doesn't.
Holy moly.
$1.3 billion. So okay. So when you first read that, it does read like they made big money. But this is where the explanation is very important. So for the estimates, Universal earned approximately $650 from Fallen Kingdom, $500 million from Dominion, because the revenue is split between the studio and the theaters. So about half goes to the studio, about half goes to the theater. So that $1.3 billion is the total gross. And then you cut that number in half,
Hmm.
for each movie. So you barely break even.
Yep.
So yeah, it's rough, dude.
They paid RDJ $80 to $100 million for his Doomsday.
I'm actually a little curious on that. Now, okay, we're gonna talk about Thunderbolts in the next story, but we do got to jump over and talk about that. So the article continues, starts talking about tax breaks. So tax breaks bring relief and incentive. Interestingly, one of the bigger interestingly, one of the biggest winners in this dinosaur-sized spending spree may be the United Kingdom, because both films were produced in the UK. They qualified for the country's film tax incentive program, which reimburses a portion of eligible production costs. Dominion reportedly received the largest single rebate in UK film history, over $114 million back. That's in addition to the $3.7 million from the UK job retention scheme. Well, that's a little pointed. After the global health crisis, Fallen Kingdom also secured a generous tax break. So taxes back. You're gonna get a rebate of $114 million on top of the money you brought back. I mean, yeah. This is why they should not be getting these giant fucking tax incentives anywhere for movies.
Movies still lost out, basically.
Where's the tax payoffs for like independent artists? You know, like classical painters and shit.
Well, they're only getting like $40K because they only spend like $4 mil.
Yeah. I honestly
Only.
Well, this is the bullshit that happened with the Batwoman movie. We've talked about it a bunch of times on the channel. They made a complete Batwoman movie, put it in front of a film screening, a film test screening to see how it would perform. It did so horribly, they just pulled the film and just took the tax break on it. And in my mind, I'm like, why are they getting a tax break for a product they didn't actually put on the market? Like, they just spent the money.
Yeah, no kidding.
To get a huge tax break for it.
It's Hollywood, baby.
It is Hollywood. Honestly, all in all, total bullshit. Total bullshit.
But yeah, this is like another notch in your headboard of like these films are just getting way out of price.
So
And
bloated. Yeah.
insane.
Well, and honestly, I think Elon Musk goes in, becomes CEO of Disney, CEO of Universal, just takes on both CEO titles and positions, cuts 80% of their staff. All of a sudden, their movies make $1 billion a film, and they're actually pocketing that cash. I mean, I think he would. I don't know if he'd get. I think he'd be hit or miss on getting the talent in there that they want. But
I kind of want to know who these investors are, where they still think investing in these big franchise movies and whatnot is a good idea.
I wonder. Well, here's the thing. Let's think,
Money laundering.
well, that, but also we have no evidence. It's allegedly.
Allegedly. They're watching
Allegedly.
Well, we were thinking about this in the entire span of the channel. So last 2.5 years that we've been doing third-party studios, we've been talking about these financial failures from all these industries. The only giant we've seen fall is Ubisoft. So, I mean, that's the only one I can remember. So if I'm missing one, call me out. But Ubisoft is the only giant we have seen fall. We've seen franchises die, like we know that Lord of the Rings is now a dead brand when it comes to Rings of Power, when it comes to War of the Rohirrim.
Our favorite movie.
Yeah. Oh God. I got a little bit of a PTSD moment there. That was such garbage. Star Wars dead brand. We've seen franchises die.
Everything's dead.
Yeah. Halo was one of the first things we saw die. Scooby-Doo with the Velma show. So I mean, we've seen franchises be murdered, but I mean, studios are slow to fall. And I do think that
Warner Brothers has had the slowest fall. It's like you ever like slip on ice or whatever, and you catch yourself and you keep slipping, and blah blah blah. That's what Warner Brothers has been doing.
Yeah, you would have thought that for how many mistakes Warner Brothers made. It's just how do they keep
it all rests
afloat?
On Superman's shoulders in July.
I don't think it's there. I really don't.
Not with the leaks that came.
Well, let's keep. So just to finish or to round this topic out, I'll just say that one thing to think about when it comes to these large studios, especially like Disney as a great example, Universal and Warner Brothers, is they are thinking in the decades of timeline rather than the one movie at a time. We watch a movie, say you just blew $100 million on a movie you didn't even put out, and they're saying we need to maintain these DC IPs so that we can keep them. They're saying we need to retain these IPs, and that's That's the strategy they're going.
On another podcast, so to where it's like they didn't put it out because they didn't want to ruin the reputation of DC. It's like, well,
that's
put out
dead.
all the other bullshit.
Well, Disney specifically. So Disney and Universal get a lifeline in the fact that they have their amusement parks. Their amusement parks are insanely profitable and subsidize a large portion of the film industry that they take advantage of. And the film industry then is basically advertising circularly for the amusement parks. So you can go to the Jurassic Park ride. You can go to the Harry Potter verse.
You can get their toys. You can get, like, I know toys and merchandise make a lot of money for them.
If you took these giant corporations that have large stakes in entertainment, and you treated them like the monopolies they are, you could break up those two things, and you could prevent Disney subsidizing themselves with money from an entirely different industry to do that. So I mean, if we just practice the anti-monopoly law, or anti-competitive laws, we'd be fine. This all would fix itself if we just do better at this shit.
Anti-competitive?
So well, I mean, I don't want to get into this, but I have to explain that now. So, like Google, for instance, has contracts that are exclusionary, meaning that you can't partner or put product on that we do not greenlight onto your phone. So, like Samsung and Google's partnership makes it so that Samsung cannot put on certain products and tools that Google does not co-sign. That's old information, so it might have been legally addressed already, but I mean, basically just contracts, partnerships that make it so you can't do more contracts and partnerships with people other than the parties involved in this original contract.
Well, I'm also just thinking, it's like, when was the last time I saw a Universal movie?
I mean, commonly, I bet. I'm
going through it and I'm not seeing a movie that...
Really?
Yep.
I mean, I probably go through and see older films all the time. We got only a limited amount of time with Slim, so let's move on. We're going to wrap up this article, but just to...
Should we switch over to Oblivion then?
We should do that. So to wrap this up, cost of Jurassic World films passes $1 billion before marketing. The article brought to us from That Park Place and Raven Redgrave. Thank you so much. Really good work on the article. Let's move into the next topic. We're going to be talking about Oblivion. And we have several articles here, but I want to start with one of the older ones because I want to get your take on this, Slim, right out of the jump. So this article's about a week and a half old. Oblivion Remastered sparks backlash after Bethesda replaces male and female with body types. Modding community strikes back. They created the female-male body type mod that people could incorporate into the game. Very recently, another article came out saying Nexus Mods quietly reverses course on male-female mod for Oblivion Remaster. Is Nexus actually leaving the culture war behind? So I know we're not deep diving into both of these articles, but I'll give you the brief overview. Basically, Nexus Mods has been notorious for any mods that are politically or culturally relevant or fall on the what would I say, the anti-woke side of the argument. And woke is kind of a buzzword. I'm trying to cut back on using it a little bit more, but it's the best way to categorize the two factions to date. So I don't know. It's like
saying based. That's overused.
Right. And I mean, I'm not trying to be a trender where I just use it and then I stop using it because it's not popular. I do think that was the best term to describe what was going on, and it's just a good category. Nexus Mods has been penalizing or just outright blocking or removing mods that have done anything on the anti-woke faction side in the culture war, and they've been notorious. I don't remember the name of the other mod platform, but they were not even as bad as Nexus was. They were still doing it for certain games, depending on the popularity, but now Nexus Mods has backed off, and they're letting that mod come back, and they're not making a big hubbub about it, and it has not been really blowing up the story, so I wanted to make sure this one came out. Slim, what is your take on... Why don't you run us through your impression, your thoughts on Oblivion, the remaster so far? Like, why don't you give us the overview?
Well, I didn't even, to just address the article, I didn't even know that was a thing. I just kind of jumped in the game. I didn't even notice that was a thing, which is fine with me. That doesn't bug me. It's not like other games that seem to shove their agenda down your throat.
Yeah.
Or they didn't add any dialogue that I have found. So obviously, I don't actually care about that they did that. If people want to add a mod to put that back in, who cares? that's their mod then. If people want to download it, let them do what they want.
Well, and it's not
but
like Nexus is the only place to get mods. So I mean, you can get them in other
Yeah.
places, but when the industry of modding, because modding basically has to be hosted on platforms. I mean, that's the most efficient way to
Yeah.
reach anybody. I mean, you could create your own domain
Yeah.
and put it up yourself, but keep going. I didn't want to cut you off. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
No,
for
you're
context.
fine. And it's not like they were like, oh, in the beginning of it, they didn't add a title like, oh, what's your pronouns? And then I would have been like, oh, come on, we don't need this BS in an Oblivion game, remaster. Like, let's just enjoy the remake of it. But overall, no, I have almost zero complaints about the game. I've had a few crashes, but I mean, who hasn't? It's Oblivion. It's a Bethesda game.
If it came out finished, that'd be weird.
Bugs.
It would be weird. It'd be weird.
Okay, so it got
I've
go ahead.
no, it's like it's coming back to just my your childhood. You go into, but it's so well done. It's so the graphics are so updated, and it just seeing my first Oblivion game was just brought back all the nostalgia. Just the sky darkened, and it looks so well.
What region
Going
of
through all
Tamriel
the
does,
guilds.
What region of Tamriel does Oblivion take place in again?
Cyrodiil.
Cyrodiil? Okay.
It's Cyrodiil. Yep.
Because I'm trying to get my bearings here because I'm not that.
Do you have the map in your head?
Well, I mean, I have a vague impression of the map and a vague impression of the timeline because I know that they're not I know that they're not direct sequels to each other.
No.
And the stories are not related
No.
at all. But they
Not really. I think Skyrim's like 200 or 300 years after Oblivion. So
that was how I
believe.
understood it. Yeah. Okay.
Is the continent called Tamriel?
I thought.
I believe it's Tamriel. I believe so.
Okay, so I mispronounced
Because
it.
there's more. There's Morim, Skyrim, the Marshland. I forget what that's called.
It's literally called the Black Marsh.
Black Marsh.
Oh, okay.
So I got 5 questions for you, Slim. I want to run through these real quick. So we've been doing the first impressions on the channel with some of the game reviews. We're
Yep.
we're still trying to like finish up on editing those so that we could see what our final vision will look like. But so there's basically 5 categories when we're talking about doing games. So it goes, how are you enjoying the story of the game? And with a remodel, I know some of this is already going to be answered, but I was under the impression the remaster gave us some new content.
I've only played, I think it's roughly 20 to 25 hours. So I'm just doing the guilds right now. But as of like coming back to it, and I've heard there's new quests added and it's all the DLC. So I haven't got to any new stuff, but like going back to all this stuff, just everything is the game's huge.
But,
Like I've only been through 2 guilds and it's been 30 hours.
What has the better main story, Oblivion or Skyrim?
Ooh, that's
This
I've
is
never
going
finished
to
Skyrim's
probably
games.
not
You
look
haven't?
good for me.
Oh.
I do not like Skyrim.
what?
As a
I
game or
didn't
just as
like
a
it.
story?
As a story.
Oh,
The
okay.
game
It's like-
itself,
okay.
excellent. I don't like any of the guilds. I don't like any of their stories. I think the only good one was when the DLC came out with the Vampire Lords. That was very
Okay,
excellent.
yeah. Dawnguard.
I didn't like any of it. After replaying Oblivion, like I loved the gameplay and how it felt in the actual gameplay. Hate the story. I don't like how they did the dragons. I didn't like any of it. I
can
don't
see
think.
that because like it's been what 24 years or not 14 years since Jesus.
Since Jesus.
Since
Your understanding of the
That
Julian
was
calendar is a little
2,000
fucked
years
up.
ago. But okay.
14 years ago, Skyrim dropped.
7 years ago, there was Jesus.
So after 14 years, I still haven't finished Skyrim's main story.
It's not. It's just so bad.
I put
It's
hundreds of
not
hours
a
into the
well-written
game.
story, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's so garbage you can't play the game, because the game's still really good. Obviously,
get
it's
back
how many
into it.
copies it sold. It's like a record breaker, but
Everything I want from Skyrim, except the magic, I have in Bannerlord. Like everything I want from Skyrim for exploration, for like combat, for like RPG, for the RPG and skill tree system. I mean, the diplomacy, the big sieges and battles. I mean, everything about Bannerlord is better, minus the really amazing magic system that I actually love about Skyrim. But there are
I will give Skyrim, it has a better leveling. I like how you level up and you're like put points into that skill tree better than Oblivion,
Just by
because you just
using you.
level up, and after 25 levels you gain a new skill.
what is your
So Skyrim is better than that, but everything else in Oblivion, the writing's so much better in
okay?
Oblivion.
This is the question I've been waiting to ask you. I've been waiting to ask anybody who's spent a reasonable amount of time in Oblivion. How is the lock picking system? That's the question that matters. That is
it was so tough to get back to know how to do it, but once you do it, once you learn the intricacies of what it's going on, actually, you can do a very hard lockpick with level 1 skill once you know what you're doing.
That's what I like about because Fallout 3 introduced the modern lockpicking system where it's
yes, I very much like that system. That's very good.
one.
Yeah,
you can pick locks if the game allows you. Like having like a level 1 lockpicking skill, you could still pick a level 100 lock if you're good.
Exactly.
So the reason I asked that question was because there were I was just looking and doing
like 20 picks for an easy lock.
Yeah, I was looking.
Yeah.
I was looking for. I was looking for just breakdowns on Oblivion, just to kind of get up to speed. Because again, I love this franchise. I really enjoyed it, but it's been so long since we've gotten anything for the franchise, and Oblivion Remaster was not on my radar. And so when it came out, I wasn't ready to like drop everything and jump right into it.
That's because they announced it and then dropped it like the same day.
Yeah,
dropped it the same day.
So I was not ready.
A goat move, by the way.
Right.
I like that. They should do
I
think the industry
That's
should
awesome.
do more shadow drops like that.
Well, the nice thing about it is that expectations don't get inflated or misaligned, right?
Yeah.
The articles don't.
People
have a
can just jump in and enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, and staying.
That's what I was talking about too with like Final Fantasy 15. They announced it in 06. It didn't come out until 2016.
Well, Grand Theft Auto 6 is now going to be an absolute. I'd be very curious to see how all of this
push back another year.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see how Grand Theft Auto 6 like does, since I mean they've never had a problem with people knowing the game is going to take a decade to get out, and then
over a decade,
and then they actually get it out, and then the game does fine. That's never been an issue. But the industry is, I would argue, more competitive than it's ever been. And I would argue that people are far, far more skeptical of like studios now as an average overview of the industry's audience.
Well, yeah, people are getting the notion, a true notion that like, if this game comes out from like, okay, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. It's not the same team that's going to put out Grand Theft Auto 6.
No.
It's 13 years later.
That's the one thing you keep bringing up in the streams, that people just generally are not clicking for them. But you're 100%
same
right.
Studio, not the same people.
Right. Let's get into this article. So the article is Oblivion Remastered shocks gaming industry and clearly shows modern message tropes in video games doesn't work. So we talked about this, the body type thing with the character creation. Nothing else, Slim? There's nothing else in this game that you could interpret as...
Not that I have caught on yet. I mean, there's so many different ways a person could have gone. Because for sure I see like what someone saw in the first 5 hours of playing, you know. Mm-hmm. And now that I've seen this, maybe I'll keep a closer eye on it. And like I said, I didn't even notice that body typer because whatever, I didn't.
That's been a staple.
I didn't see that right away. So, because I know they added dialogue and I hate when they kind of add modern messages in remakes. I just would turn the game off right away.
Like in Halo, when they released the Master Chief Collection and remastered the entire Halo franchise, and they turned all the grunts gay.
Yeah.
I thought they
gay grunts.
I made
gay
that.
Grunts.
That is a lie.
No, it's canon.
No,
it's lore now. It's lore now. I mean, they could still be gay, and I mean, it's just gonna. I don't know how that'll affect how you play the game.
There's an extended universe book that explores the grunt sexuality.
I would not doubt it with 343 at the helm. Those people.
There's a lore book.
But I'm glad. Okay, so let's recap the year, right? So I just want to, before we dig into this article specifically, and kind of get more into the nitty gritty of this one, just as a concept with modern messaging in video games, we had Assassin's Creed Shadows, I don't know how that performed or averaged out. If it broke even,
They advertise a success, but it's the way they word it.
right? It's the you can make anything
Yeah.
work with the magic of marketing. Then you have
I think it's doing better than I think we previously thought it was going to. I think
Yeah.
we thought it was going to crash and burn, and I don't think it did.
It's middling, I would say.
but we have Outlander, or I'm sorry,
Yes.
not Out. What's the Outlaws? Sorry, Star Wars Outlaws. We have X Defiant. We have Concord.
That crash and burn.
We have all those bombs, and then on the flip side,
Skull and Bones that cost over $400 million to make.
Skull and Bones, and then on the flip side, we get Black Myth Wukong. We get Space
They
Marines
are
2.
working on that game to make it better still. So
Skull and Bones? They didn't give up?
Surrender.
yeah, they didn't. They're making melee combat.
Oh my god.
They're coming up with an update to do hand-in-hand combat.
Interesting.
Like they're still working on it.
What's the player count on that? 5?
They made it for themselves. They
Well,
definitely-
yeah, probably 5-10 people, but
Let's see if I can find it.
dedicated to those 10 people.
So with this video, so that was just, I wanted to preface the year and just say, look, if this is the trend, we're going to see the bad games literally die off, and we're going to see these great games rise to the top, and we'll now have choices of good games rather than just one a year. Like, I would say Baldur's Gate 3 was probably the one in that year that really stood out as like the breakout success, and I don't think it had any real competition. I might not have been paying as much attention.
That game crushed it.
Yeah, blew up. Got a customer. What was the award? It won. It's like Player's Choice or something award this year.
They won a bunch of awards they won a bunch of stuff. So they won like a writing award. They won the best RPG award. They just cleaned house at the forget the name of the whole award ceremony they have, but it cleaned house.
Yeah, it kicked ass, dude.
I mean, this year, gamers are kind of swimming in good content.
Yeah, we got lucky.
It's an odd year.
Let's dig into the article. So, first lines in the article: Bethesda's surprise release of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered has not only delighted fans but also sent ripples through the gaming industry. With over 4 million players in just 5 days, the remaster's success underscores a growing trend. Gamers are increasingly gravitating towards revitalized classics over new big-budget titles. Okay, that is actually that is a misread of what's actually happening.
That's all that people are putting out is remakes and remasters.
Right. And so and continuations or sequels and stuff. And I would say gravitating towards like the revitalizing or the remastering of classics, I would argue that they're just going back to classics in general, no caveats. I would just say generally older games. I wouldn't say revitalized, I wouldn't say remastered, I wouldn't make any caveats to it. I would say as you add that, you infer that the studio has a role to play in why these are still popular or becoming popular. It's not. The studio is turning away the audience, and they're just going backwards. Not backwards into a specific type, just backwards in general to their preferred
it's
categories.
like Bethesda's like, Fallout 76 was a huge disaster. It's actually still going, and there's a dedicated fan base for it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, well, Elder Scrolls 6 isn't going to come out for a while, so we'll just throw this out. Elder Scrolls 6 is getting the GTA 6 treatment.
The article continues. That's even in spite
It
of
sure is.
That's even in spite of a ridiculous body type revisionism for modern audiences that doesn't exist. Players want the game they loved from a time they liked better, made by people who weren't indoctrinated in postmodern academic sludge. Yeah, I think that's a very academic way of breaking it down. The academic sludge. I think he's overanalyzing this whole thing a little bit, and he doesn't even have to point at body type specifically.
The whole internet kind of overblew the whole body type thing. It's like no one really cares. Body type 1, body type 2.
I think this. Look. We all know how we feel about this. I don't like using the word either. But woke stuff. We don't care. I think this is an overreaction.
Yeah.
Look, you can be a lizard or a cat. Like, you could be like, don't even like. Why are you overthinking this? In my opinion, like, just pick your character and go play the game. Why do you Why are you wasting this guy wasting his time? Like an article about it saying body type instead of sex,
Well, I would
or
say,
male female. Like,
well, it's
dude, you could be an Argonian. That's what you're making a
It's
huge deal over this.
It's still a binary choice, though. It's
Well-
not a non-binary choice.
well, here's the thing: if you have
Gosh.
body type, only makes sense if you're going to do like 4 male like body builds and like 4 female body builds. But because you can adjust the scale of the body size and shape, there's no point in doing body type at all.
Yeah.
You could just do male and female. It'd be the easiest thing in the world to just do that.
I understand.
The reason they're doing it intentionally, that's where the frustration comes from. It's not, you didn't get it's not a Hiroshima Nagasaki level news event, but the issue is that if you keep having people like down your block shoot and kill each other, it's not going to make them national headlines, but it's still still like not good. Like it's the reason I think that articles and
So
things,
you're saying it don't give them an inch, else they'll take a mile in a debate.
well, we know that that's true. We don't have to even guess
Or-
at that. We
or-
know that's the case.
Oh, for sure.
I would say that is true, that give an inch they'll take a mile. I would say that is true. I would also say that we do understand and know that they are going to extreme lengths to hide the modern message and stuff now. And I mean, they're still putting it in there, but now they're being a little bit more subtle about it. So I mean, it's not like these people are gone.
Yeah.
They just got chased back into the shadows from whence they came. And
And so it's they're being more subtle about it and in your face, like throwing he she pronouns in there. It's like a body type. Okay, I'm understanding where this guy's coming from now.
well, and here's the thing: you can't kill an ideology, right? This isn't gonna go away, quote unquote. But the reason that it came, we're the older generation now that's going to be looking at video games and buying them for kids or buying them for our kids and like showing, like giving history lessons about what was good games and what was bad games. And so you don't have anyone you don't have a lot of people in generations older than us who are going to be paying attention to this. We are the only people who are like playing games who really remember that golden era of video games. And so if we take our eye off the ball, it's going to come back. Like you can't, like that's where I'm at with it. If you take your eye off the ball, it's coming back in spades, and it's going to be worse because the younger generation will have today's games as their baseline. They will have Minecraft. They will have Fortnite. They will have like all the Battle Royale games. They'll have modern Call of Duty. They won't have any of these gaming experiences that we've had to guide us. But
well, we grew up with the industry also growing up pretty much.
yeah, and I think better for
you
it.
go from 8-bit
Yeah.
to 64-bit to like now we're just doing almost like real life graphics and shit. So.
Yeah. Well, and so this is my point. It's like the reason
Yeah.
the education system became so fucked up was because the generations responsible for shepherding it, who were supposed to be taking care of things and watching over it and making sure all the young people go to college and do what they're supposed to do in college, they stopped paying attention. All of a sudden, this ideology slinks in, and it became so widespread it nearly destroyed everything. This is, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not Hiroshima, it's not Nagasaki, it's just the problem, and we have to bite it in the butt every time it comes
mustard
back.
gas that gets you years later.
Exactly. Exactly. Mustard.
Agent Orange.
Agent Orange. Cancer. It's cancer.
It is cancer.
I didn't realize okay, so I want to ask you about this one after I read through it. So built on Unreal Engine 5, Oblivion Remastered offers a comprehensive visual overhaul while preserving the core gameplay that 2006 original classic, or that made the 2006 original a classic. Every asset from landscapes, character models has been redesigned, blurring the lines between remaster and remake. I'm not interested in what IGN had to say on it, but the fact that they completely rebuilt this thing from the ground up on Unreal Engine 5, I think you've played enough video games to know what an Unreal Engine 5 video game feels like. Did you get that? Did you pick up on that at all during your 30 hours or so of gameplay into this yet? I mean, could you tell that this was made on an entirely different engine, or did it feel close enough to the OG?
Yeah. It's from what I heard, they outsourced it to people who do that Unreal, like a studio that has like expertise in Unreal Engine 5.
Yep.
And they just kind of layered the textures over like the game, so it was a little bit less work from what I've understood about reading about it.
Yeah, so you get
But no, it's the graphics are awesome.
Yeah.
They're so good, especially like I said, walking up. I've only done one Oblivion gate because I like doing the side stuff first. Walking up to it, it's amazing.
good.
It's very well.
That's
The
where
graphics are awesome.
Bethesda jank stays in because it's still the creation engine that Bethesda uses.
Yeah.
It's with
Yeah.
Unreal 5 thrown
And they
over
just
top of it.
layered the graphics on, and it's so funny. I remember like the first quest I did outside of getting out of the sewers. I go into this office and there's like this. I hear these two people talking. And I walk into the room. She's quote unquote sitting on a chair, but a bed. So she's clipping through the whole bed, and they're just talking normally. It was like I just burst out laughing. It was like, yep, there's Oblivion for you.
Yeah.
And
So, I don't
I'm
get
so
why
glad they
Bethesda-
actually kept the jank in.
Yeah, I don't get why Bethesda doesn't move away from the creation engine.
They probably they own it. I mean, they've already probably
I know.
invested everything they're going to into
But
it.
Be
you can
too
create a new
expensive.
Engine. I mean, it's going to take years before they'd even implement it because of how long game process or developing games takes these days. But
I want to.
it's
Yeah.
been a problem since Fallout 3.
So this came up when what were we playing the other?
Maybe people.
Go ahead, Slim.
I said just maybe people love it and it's funny, you know, just
Maybe they
seeing
s-
that stuff. Maybe in a new game it'd be more annoying,
They stuck.
but
they-
seeing it in Oblivion Remastered just brings back the nostalgia.
Yeah, instead of having live, laugh, love, they have bugs or features
Right.
on there. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's
was-
a classic line. Yeah.
I was remembering a week or two ago one of our more recent podcast episodes that we did came up. We were talking about Titanfall, and I brought up that it was the Titanfall 3 was going to be made in the Unreal Engine 5. New first on a side note,
canceled.
Canceled. Bunch of people fired. The internet
Yep.
the internet raged.
Yeah.
We got the leak
I'm
that it
pissed
was-
about that.
Yeah, we got the leak that they were gonna make it like 2 weeks before they announced they were gonna cancel the entire project and fire.
I don't
Yeah.
think it was that long. It was a few days.
Yeah, it was.
1 and 2 were
and
so
10.
good.
Did we lose it because it got leaked? Is that why? Are we the bad guy here? No. But I wanted to ask you,
Are we the
Cody,
baddies?
I wanted to ask the two of you guys because I bring up this and I want to understand if I'm alone on this.
Probably.
I think Unreal Engine 5 is a really bad, like the implementation of Unreal Engine 5 across the gaming industry as a whole is a really bad thing. Am I alone on that in that mindset?
It's not bad. It's overused. It's used on every single game that's coming out now.
Right. And I mean, we have.
And I've
So
heard
it's-
it's extremely difficult to work with too, from what I've read.
Oh, I've heard it's easy.
I've heard it's a really tough system to work with.
It depends on it. It depends on who is the one working with it. So this is not.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to decry user error. I will say that Unreal Engine
It's
5.
a skill issue.
Well, Unreal Engine 5 is literally taught at schools where you do game development courses. So I mean, Unreal Engine 5 is like
okay.
the Mac PC
didn't know that.
of the gaming industry for schooling.
Gross.
And so it's very taught. But I mean, if you were an older generation OG who had insane talent and made the best video games, all of a sudden you got this product from Epic come out and everyone's using it, and now you have to become accustomed to it, and you have all of these tips and tricks for making amazing games that don't translate. I would see why that would be a person who would struggle with the tool, who I would not blame at all. But
Yeah. I'll agree with you just for this one reason. Competition is good. So there needs to be a competitor with them to make sure they keep improving their product.
Well, and the only the issue is that every major studio is either using Unreal or they have their own. So like Blizzard Activision,
Yeah.
for example, has their own engine.
Yeah, like you get different styles and different looking games based on their engine. So if everyone switches to Unreal 5, then it all seems kind of samey. Like
I was just about to say that.
Ubisoft, BioWare, when they acquired, who does Battlefield again?
EA.
Was it-
EA
EA?
Frostbite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Frostbite
Yep.
engine. They They took an engine that was made for first-person shooters in Battlefield, and then they threw it on Mass Effect Andromeda, and it wasn't fucking ready for it. But I still like the look.
Yeah, that
and
looked terrible.
I like how it feels and whatnot. But you got
yeah,
the Frostbite, you got the Creation engine, you got the Fox engine that was used for Metal Gear and whatnot. And I was just gonna look up if Kojima is still using that on his new Death Stranding game.
My biggest gripe.
I think he is.
My biggest gripe with Unreal Engine has been that the Unreal Engine has been a platform that has prioritized like visuals over fun gameplay performance. Now, let me clarify a little bit that the game's developers are able to create fun game loops and they're able to create enjoyable mechanics out of it, but the system itself prioritizes the graphics and the visual aspects of it, and it oftentimes leads to products that are incredibly janky or bloated or have just a bunch of processing errors because graphics are so intense. All of that is I think that is the wrong way to go with gaming. I think we like really need an overcorrection or like a course correction on like graphics and gaming. We need to be comfortable with graphics that are not hyper realistic. And I think that the love for hyper realistic games is to our own detriment, because
I mean, looking back in the day, like when you played a game like Jack 2 or whatever, you'd be like, oh my God, this is so realized and whatnot. And you go back to it now on PS2 and be like, my brain was just making it more,
it filled in the blanks. It was more immersive. Well, and I mean,
it should focus more on art styles than like realism.
Not only that, you run into the issue then of like PCs are expensive. You know, people got to be able to run your games. You know, not all of us are lucky enough to have the expendable income to go buy a $2,000 or $3,000 rig. Like, I can't imagine how many people can't play Oblivion because of what it demands.
Hyper intense graphics require hyper intense graphics cards and processing computers.
There's got to be those games out there where people. You're right. Shouldn't always have to focus on graphics, because that doesn't make a good game.
To the US, so.
Well, that'll be interesting. So I'm curious. So tax breaks that Nvidia will enjoy, the fact that it'll be produced in the state or in the country, shipping tariffs, all these things that inflate the costs. But then
it's way too early to tell on that stuff. But let's hope that all that stuff contributes in a positive way.
Yeah, offset by the cost of American labor. So, I want good things to happen. But I'm in your boat too, Slim. It's too early to tell. We'll wrap this one up by saying Oblivion Remastered shocks gaming industry and clearly shows modern message tropes in video games doesn't work. Article written by WDW Pro at thatparkplace.com. Thank you so much for the article. A few things in there I thought were a little bit unnecessarily pointed, but we got the point. It was a good article. Thank you
a little bit, but
yeah. Thank you so much. All right, we are going to cover our last story of the day, and honestly, looking forward to talking about it. Slim, do we have you for a while longer yet, or do you have to...
Yeah, I could stick around for a bit longer. Not that I'll be any help for this part. Well, I never watched the movie with you guys, but...
No worries. Ask questions. Keep everything coming. So we will come at it...
Heard good things about it, so...
Yeah. Well, let's start with the good things. So, Rotten Tomatoes, we are going to be talking about Marvel's Thunderbolts, and this is where I was going to... Asterisk. This is where I was confused at the very beginning of the podcast. I don't know how to discuss this movie because the entire ecosystem of Marvel around it is so painful and toxic that this is kind of like this one ray of light that you don't want to get hyped about, you don't want to get excited about, you don't want to take away the wrong things from the conversations about it. But as a movie, as a singular standout film, there is a lot to be enjoyed with it. And I'll just start by pointing to the Rotten Tomato score. So the Rotten Tomato critic score has it at an 88%. The popcorn meter with the audience scores, again, these could be inflated. The movie's only been out for a couple of days. So it's not... we will see this number correct to the more realistic numbers.
Monday would be more realistic.
Right.
Yes, correct.
But 95% is still, I mean, that's either the bots hard at work or this movie is not getting a lot of pushback on that number. So, I mean, because it averages. So we would see...
Yeah, that's spectacular.
Yeah.
And 2,000 over 2,500 ratings isn't like it's not a lot, but that's not nothing.
Right. And so just for a good, healthy comparison, Cody reminded me that Metacritic existed, so we were going to pull that up too. Here's probably something a little bit more likely, or let me just refresh that. Here's something a little bit more likely for Thunderbolts at a 68% or 7.1.
7.1.
That's kind of closer. I think this is probably a little bit lower than I would have put it at, but I think that this is probably, it's not a 100% movie, but I think normies would probably say this is the best thing they've ever seen or the worst thing they've ever seen.
I mean, without going into like a full review, that 7.1 is about where I would place it.
Okay. And IMDb, just for total, all the numbers out there, getting everything on the plate, 7.8% is what we're getting from Thunderbolts on IMDb as well.
7.8%.
So roughly an 8 if you
7.8.
kind of set around an 8 if you add everything kind of together.
Yes.
I have heard pretty decent things about it.
So we're not going to do a full review on this movie, but we have to talk about it in the context of like, where is Marvel at? What is the direction Marvel's going? Is this a standalone? Or is this the last time we're going to see something this good? Is this the first time in the next generation of films that we're going to see something this good, and we have more to come?
So, like, when it comes to Thunderbolt discussion, I wouldn't say I had zero expectations going into this. I had negative expectations going into this.
Me too.
It's like, it's going to be shit.
So that probably helped you guys.
Yeah, there technically is homework that you have to do before watching this. You have to know certain things.
Yep.
Like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, probably should watch that to know one character. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's another one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America 4.
Brave New Hope.
And
Brave New Hope for Change.
Or not,
Black Widow. Yep.
The Black Widow movie too. This movie kind of just goes into it and they don't really explain why these characters are. But
right.
Are you going to be completely lost though if you don't see those? Like, I haven't seen any of that. So if I just walked in there, because I've seen basically everything up to Endgame, and I haven't seen a single thing since.
Well,
could I walk in there?
Let me take
and watch this.
Let me take this part, Cody, because so you have the who's the Red Russian guy? What's his name? The character. It's fine if you don't know.
Well, it's the Red Guardian.
The Red Guardian.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
His actual name.
The Red Guardian, and then the main character, the kind of the Black Widow that you have in the movie, Yelena.
Mm-hmm.
Those two characters if you don't know who they are, you're going to struggle a little bit throughout the film. You'll still be able to enjoy it. There will still be things to like, but they come from the Black Widow film. So, or the Scarlett Johansson Black Widow. So that's where you're getting.
I remember seeing them in previews for that movie. So, but like, I know they're part of that universe and they're part of her story, but I didn't see the movie kind of thing.
They make mentions of Yelena losing her sister, but they don't specifically say that it was Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow.
Exactly. Yep. And then you have.
So I would get that. So.
And then Bucky the Vampire Slayer. I mean the Winter Soldier. This is the very start of the film, so it's not a spoiler, but you find out immediately he's actually a congressman, a junior congressman for his district in New York. So if you didn't pay attention or know anything about if you didn't watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier, you're not going to know why he's why the Winter Soldier is now in government.
Right.
So that's
yeah.
Again, you could get through all of these things and still enjoy the film, but you are going to struggle. It is going to stick in your brain.
There's going to be hurdles. Yeah.
There are. And there's other characters. A lot of these characters came from this phase of Marvel. So if you don't know who they are, you're going to struggle with understanding their interactions because these guys are all famous to each other. So they all know things about each other. But if you watch it and they're making references to things, they're making comments in the dialogue, if you don't understand it, you're gonna fall behind.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to enjoy about the film itself. And
yeah, like I said when we were first starting this, is that negative expectations going into this, pleasantly surprised and actually kind of quite enjoyed the movie.
I did too. Let's start there.
Yeah. We don't have to do a full review or anything. We should almost do like a separate video. And
We should.
drop that.
We should, I think. But what would you give the movie? Like, not a review,
I'll
just
give it like a 7.5. Like, it's not a perfect movie. There's like, you got exposition dumps, people just randomly drop into their backstories and whatnot. There's a few cringe moments. So it was just like turning these people into heroes.
yeah.
A little cringy. But overall, I enjoyed the movie quite a bit.
I did too. Okay, so I'll say a 7.5, and the reason I hesitate to give it higher, I think the movie could deserve higher. I really do. The reason I'm hesitant to is because I don't know that will age well when the next movie comes out and completely obliterates all the characters from what we have here. Slim, just for your benefit, let me just kind of break down what we're liking about this film. It's probably got some of the better fight scenes and choreography out of most of the newer Marvel films that we've
Phase
had.
4 and 5, yeah.
Yep. The dialogue and the writing is not great at a lot of points, but
Characterization's good, though.
the characters are awesome. Every character stands out in this movie as someone who is just really enjoyable to see on screen. I would say except the main antagonist, the lady who's like the head of the CIA. Madam Hydra. I did not.
Julia Dreyfus's character.
Yeah, so
she's the worst part about the movie.
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
She talks to everyone like she's talking to a kindergarten class. It's very slow and enunciated.
Well, and they dyed her hair to look exactly like Tulsi Gabbard. I thought they were making a dig at Tulsi Gabbard.
I didn't get that.
I thought they were making a dig at her in the film. I was wrong. But that's what it's. The first time you see her, I'm like, oh, they're making fun of Tulsi Gabbard now. Great, cool. Not a huge problem, but it's stupid. She is the worst character. Besides her, I can't think of a single other character on the screen who showed up that I didn't genuinely enjoy time with and want more from. The Walker, who's the
John Walker.
John Walker, who's who was the new Captain America for a brief stint of time before it went to Sam, and who was
legally went to Sam.
Yeah, who was the Falcon. His character is actually really enjoyable, has a lot of screen charisma and a lot of screen presence.
That's because he's Kurt Russell's son.
This is the best I've seen from Bucky. Winter Soldier has been a character I have not liked at all.
Really?
Not generally speaking. He's for the most part,
he's always like a background character.
He's always a background character, but he's always so depressed and morbid. Everything's sad, and I'm kind of stoic, but also serious because I'm brainwashed. I'm annoyed by it. I'm annoyed by that. This was actually something where he's back to being a character. He actually has a lot of his good personality traits on screen the whole time. So his character's like recovered or recovering from all of that. And it does plague him a bit with it, but it's awesome to see him in this performance because he's a great actor. Very talented. They let him loose in this film.
Yeah, I think the two best were Yelena and Bob.
Yeah.
Bob is brand new. And Yelena comes out of Black Widow, which I didn't see, but her just terrible.
I'm going to see if I can find a decent photo of
Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think does a good job. It's her movie, basically.
Yes. And
does a good job. And Bob is a good insert into it. Bob turns into, or Bob is, it's not really a spoiler or anything.
No.
He's Sentry, and there's some no one knows who Sentry is, but
he's not I don't think he's a front runner character in the Marvel universe. He has his own story. He has his own like stuff to be told. But
Bob / Sentry, I think, was a really good character, and the other side of him too was insane.
Yes,
I'm not going to go into any spoilers or anything, but
no. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so this is Bob.
He's Bob.
Guys, this is Bob. Bob was just sitting there in a casket in an underground dungeon.
I hope we see more of him.
I do too. Okay. So so we talked about the choreography in the film and the fight scenes are really well done for a Marvel project. Normally they
especially coming off of Captain 4.
Yeah.
It's so much better. It looks better. Choreography is so much better.
The cinematography is good.
And they're
colors.
Yeah, when it comes to like Marvel quips and whatnot, it's not that jokey, but there are like
A lot of funny moments that
There
are
are funny moments or whatnot, but it's not.
Good ones, yeah.
It's not
The-
like overblown like more other movies.
Well, the thing about the comedy in this is that it's very organic. Like the chemistry between the actors makes all the comedy really stand out as these very organic moments. The problem is that it's typical Marvel. You have a really deep conversation or a serious moment, and then they deflate the balloon with their own dialogue. So even if the moments are organically funny and good, they are really poorly timed where they're taking away from any of the seriousness of the film, which is this movie's strongest asset, is that it takes on serious themes and it does such a good job with them.
Yeah, they do a good job, but it's still very surface level. Like they don't really go that deep with it, but it's Marvel taking a plunge into like themes instead of messaging.
Right, that's what we've been asking for, is for a movie to have a theme rather than a message.
Yeah, the theme is like depression and loneliness.
Yeah. And you see all these characters who were like the bad guys, the underdogs, who are now super isolated, and they're all dealing with that. And then they kind of come together and they see the value in teamwork and collaboration and being the heroes.
There's a list of criticisms on this movie that I should make a list and then we'll talk about
Do the review on it?
actual review.
Yeah.
To where it's like, yeah, I disagree. I saw it in a different light than other people see it.
But I would say that the themes that they played with the depression, with this isolation and loneliness, I think were really good. And I think we got this happening twice in a phase where, like, only twice in a phase, which is the problem. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3 also dealt with some pretty deep emotional themes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why people really liked Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
You asked me last night, which do I like more, Guardians 3 or this one?
Yeah.
I have been thinking about this movie for like 12 hours or more now. I think I actually like Thunderbolts more.
This isn't controversial for me. I do too. I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think I even made the case for it to be, this is a while ago, so I'm just trying to remember. I think I made the case for it being 3-1-2.
1-3-2 is the correct response, but whatever.
But I mean, yeah, 1 or 3 is the flip-flopping. But basically 3 is good. 3 was a good movie. I do think this is better. I think the character chemistry is fantastic. I think the way they approach the themes is really good.
Mm-hmm.
There are some moments in this movie, Slim, that actually took me out of my seat. I thought were so cool. Like, again, no spoilers on this. It's not a review. It's, but when you start to see Bob really pop off, there's some epic moments. I mean, it's in Act 3 when it starts to really pick up.
Talking about Bob's alter ego?
Bob's alter ego, Void. Yep.
Yeah. Then it gets insane.
It gets insane, dude.
The only problem is the main. Oh, that's a spoiler. Never mind. I was gonna say.
Why? Careful.
Hold on. You can do it. But here's what's cool about
It's
this.
about consequences in the movie, though.
Right.
That's probably my biggest issue.
Yeah, I could see that. And I don't think that's a bad thing, though, actually. Like, if the movie's going to tackle that topic of consequences, I think that's fine.
If they actually continue this fucking story instead of switching and like
Pivoting.
the next movie has something to do with this, and then they barely sprinkle in little bits from
Right.
the movie.
So this article's a bit older, but it came out before the release or the movie release. So Thunderbolts now on track to perform worse than Captain America: Brave New World in latest box office projection. I think this movie
Wrote April 15th.
April 15th, yeah, 3 weeks ago. At the time of this recording. So yeah, I think that I think myself included, I really expected this movie to underperform. Now we've got, I mean, just earlier today we had this article come up. Thunderbolts United Kingdom box office sees a hike of 38.5% on second day, despite earning below Captain America: Brave New World's opening day. So there was
this one's gonna have legs and word of mouth, especially with the normies. I think
with the normies,
a lot better.
I think this movie is good enough that normies might even see it twice. You and I probably
I
won't.
want to see it again.
You would?
I would.
I would probably.
I saw Guardians 3 again, and I was like, it's not as good as I remember the first time watching it, so that's why it's.
I would go see it in theaters again if someone wanted to go see it again, but or wanted to go see it. But otherwise, I'm not gonna push for it.
Right.
But I would definitely go again. Definitely an enjoyable film, and I really do think this movie, the fact that this movie is just objectively better than Captain America: Brave New World, gives me hope. You have Bucky, you have characters in this movie that some people will remember, but it's also a really good, healthy step out of the norm for Marvel.
Yeah, that's why Marvel, like internally at Marvel, they didn't really have much hope for Captain America, but they all thought that Thunderbolts would be a lot better.
I think,
yeah, I can definitely fucking see that.
I think if Marvel
Force sucked,
if
this one was pretty good.
If Marvel turns up the marketing for Thunderbolts, I think it can. I think they would need to get word of mouth. I think they need to get some messaging out there and spread the word that this is actually something we've done differently.
They're gonna like pull it in 2 weeks and just put it on the streaming service, though, because everyone's all about the streaming service.
Well, and honestly, they would need. I'm sure to their own end, they're like, we want this movie to be bad because we don't want people to get used to not having sludge crammed down their throats. So, all in all, just to summarize our experience with it, really good standout performance from Marvel on this one. If this is more of what we get, I'd actually be excited for future phases of Marvel. But that's also the problem.
Right.
It's like, how can we possibly tell anybody, get excited? This is what it's going to be like from now on.
The next one's Fantastic Four, and there's already leaks coming out that it's Sue Storm's movie, and it's all about gender roles.
Yeah.
And it takes place in like a 60s movie. So.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I'm not excited. I'm not nearly as excited for Fantastic Four, or even as open-minded about it being good as I was before these extra trailers started to release. Before the trailers started to come out, I was kind of like, okay, a new direction. Not the cast I would have chosen, not superheroes I necessarily care a lot about. Female Silver Surfer, the Herald of Galactus, I fucking hate her hate that that's a thing.
I'm gonna put this on the internet because I'm sick of hearing it. It's like, oh, it was in the comic books. It's like, that doesn't make it good. There was that timely fucking excuse to where it's like when Marvel goes off and does something dumb, people would be like, well, it was in the comic books. It's like, yeah, so well, no one bought those comic books either.
Well, and
it was a bad idea from the get-go.
Well, and okay, if you're watching this after and you guys are in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but here's what there is no female Silver Surfer. There are female Heralds of Galactus.
She's the wife of Norrin Rad, which is the original. Surfer.
No,
she was in like 12 comic books or something.
Okay, well, then don't go in the comments, guys.
I'll correct you.
Instead,
IRL.
let's not get traction and people calling Tox an idiot in the comments, but instead. All right, but I think that's all we really have to say on this, unless we're gonna do a full review later. So
yeah, Slim, I definitely recommend seeing this one.
Yeah, it is good. It honestly, I'm recommending.
I'm sure it'll come out on Disney. So.
Oh, I mean, but we want this movie to do well in theaters. Like, we wanted to make the monies so that Marvel will have one more. I mean, I suppose we could this is the thing. It's like, I want more of this. I do want more of this. But the problem is that if we encourage and get people to spend their money at the theaters, Marvel's going to take the wrong thing away and they're just going to make more sludge.
I honestly don't give a fuck if it does well or not. I got a good movie out of it. It's fine. It's not going to change anything if it does well.
You don't think? I mean,
no, I don't think it'll change anything.
I would like to know the budget and the numbers. I guess we'll see.
Report is 200 mil, but that's the
estimate.
That's the go-to.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Third Party Podcast. We hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, again, please consider subscribing. It's free. It's the best way to show your support, and you can always change your mind later. Don't forget to smash that like button. Comment your favorite topic we covered below. Let us know if there's any topics you guys want us to look at in the future that we can look into and bring to you guys the future weeks. Slim, thank you so much for being here, bud. It's always awesome to have you back. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing more of you in the future, but just really appreciated you being here. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's great to be back. Thanks again for everybody. It's good to be back.
And we'll see you next year.
We'll catch you guys on
Yeah, see you here.
Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Sunday Slackers. We got a few returning faces, and we had a blast playing Liar's Bar. Looks like that's what we're going to be doing, so come hang out with us.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Go tell your stories.
Tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life.